Straight cash, homie.
Would you please break a damn story?
He took it out.
Oh, for you.
Monday, PFT OT, where we get an opportunity to talk about things we didn't get to because there's so much to talk about. 10 pounds of something in a 5-pound bag is how it goes on Mondays. But you know what? Before we do this, you've been hyping this is PFT OT.
I like
Chris
it.
Simms unbuttoned
I like
OT.
it, though.
So there's the PFT mug.
That's
Let me
nice.
get it into the light
All
here.
right, well,
Let me
how
get it
about you
right
drink
in
some
your mug.
freaking coffee
There.
and drink out of it?
I drank Diet Pepsi out of it today.
Ew. Okay. That's all I can say is ew.
You done? I don't want to drink coffee. I drink coffee at home.
Just drink regular Coke then.
I don't want regular Coke.
Why?
It's full of sugar.
Oh, my gosh. Don't even get me started on this conversation. That's just fake sugar. Your body's not taking it and going, oh, God. I mean, forget it. I'm not even going to get into this
Were you at
conversation.
halftime of the Harvard-Yale game on Saturday?
I would have liked to have been.
I do like your
Captain
quote, though.
Planet.
I do like your quote.
Yeah.
And this is all we're going to say about it.
Yeah.
You can't play football if there's no earth on which to play.
Yeah. I mean,
I can
kind of
agree
important.
with that.
Kind of
It is a
important.
fairly important ingredient in the playing of football. There must
Right.
actually be a planet on which the field can
I mean,
be.
we're having cities in the world right now who have to wear masks and have days canceled because of air quality.
I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
I'm just saying
Let's go.
there is a certain logic to
I'm
the
just
idea
saying, yeah.
that it is necessary to have an actual planet on which to play football.
Yes.
You can't play it in space.
God only gave us one green earth. That's
Should the Cowboys have got the first topic? Should the Cowboys have gone for it late instead of kicking the field goal that made it 13-9?
I am so mad that we didn't talk about this during the real show.
We were
As you just heard,
talking about
I know,
it.
but you just heard me cussing and going, I can't believe I forgot to bring up this point. What? Have they should have gone for it? Of course they should have. What was the point in kicking a field goal? You're down 13-6. The Patriots haven't moved the ball. You go for the touchdown. If you don't get it, the Patriots are pinned back in their own area. Okay? And there's a very good chance you're going to get the ball back with very good field position to begin with anyways. That made no sense. The only thing it did was help cover the spread. That's the only thing it did.
Which helped you.
Yeah, it did. It was great for me. But that was a ridiculous call. You don't kick the field goal there, down 7 in that point of the fourth quarter. That made no sense. They kicked it, and what was it?
6 minutes left in the game.
6 minutes left in the game. Absolutely the wrong call, bad decision, and goes back more into Jerry Jones and, his cryptic talk of coaching.
Yeah, the analytics would favor going for it there because you do, and again, analytics takes a backseat to who you're playing, where you're playing, what's going on. But you're right, the Patriots aren't moving the ball. All the more reason to go and go for it because you are more likely to get it back with a short field than if you take the field goal, kick off, give them an opportunity to pop a return, give them better field position. They get to the 25, they get to the 30, wherever. They can operate their offense a little more freely instead of being pinned against the goal line.
Which is basically what happened. They moved the ball just enough to get them, and they punted the ball. What, Dallas got the ball inside, their own 10? Their own
and they
15?
didn't have much time to work with.
No. So, I mean, that was a ridiculous decision, totally wrong. And I think Tirico said it was close to 9% chance increase of winning the game if you go for it on fourth down there.
3rd and 7 at the 11. Incomplete pass to Blake Jarwin made it 4th and 7 at the New England 11 with 6:08 to play. 29-yard field goal made it 13-9 with 6:04 left.
Made no sense.
And
did nothing.
The Patriots took it from their own 25. There was a touchback from their own 25 to the 41 of Dallas, and that's where it petered out, and the Cowboys had a chance, but they just couldn't do anything with it.
Right. It speaks to some of the problems there in Dallas. I have, you know me. I have so much respect for a lot of the people in that coaching staff in Dallas, but yeah, it's one of the things that's bringing them down. There's no way they can sugarcoat it. I'm not one to sugarcoat it at all anyways with anything. I don't care if I know people or not. That's just really the issue at hand right now. The Dallas Cowboys walk on the field for, let me just make sure I get this right, for the 11th straight game, and they're the more talented team on the football field, and they're 6-5. And there's just a problem with that. That's all that needs to be said.
The thing that prompted me last week to pick the Patriots to win the game was the matchup of Bill Belichick against Kellen Moore. Although I assume that Jason Garrett is making the decision to go for it there.
Right.
With 4th and 7, or 3rd and 7 and 4th and 7. It's just that Kellen Moore would have had to dial up a play. But, you just wonder, does Garrett have enough faith in Kellen Moore to drop a play? Is that one of the reasons why he opted to kick it? It gets back to that concept of being conservative, not in a political way.
Right.
Conservative we got to be careful. We got to do things the old school. You take the points. You always take the points, take the points, take the points. Sometimes you don't take the points.
No.
Sometimes you go for it and you pin the other team and you try to get the ball back.
Yeah. I understand if they're down by 6. Okay. Yes. Because then a field goal can tie the game on the next drive. That I can understand the thinking there. That makes no sense to be down by 7 to kick a field goal and then still have to score a touchdown to win the game. And I have an issue with everything Dallas. Dallas needed.
But think about this, though. There's more than enough time.
Yes.
There's 6 minutes left. It plays out more. It's better, I think, to not get it and get the ball back. You chew off more of the clock. You get it to 13-13. Maybe you have an opportunity to go for 2 and just walk away with the win.
Maybe, yes.
You don't want to do that with 6 minutes left.
They ran the ball with some success, too, on a 3rd and 7. Or smash it up in there. Let Ezekiel Elliott run for 4 or 5 yards. Give yourself 4th and 2 and then go from there. That was another issue I had with the game and to begin with.
That kickoff after the Cowboys scored the field goal to make it 13-9 into the end zone. Patriots get it to 25. We saw a couple of times where the Patriots would get you deliberately kicked it short. The Cowboys weren't ready. There were issues with special teams, issues with the weather. And that's it. You made the point while we were watching the game. Did the Cowboys not look at the weather report for this week?
I mean, I know New England did. I just know with my time with Josh McDaniels in Denver and in my time in my year and a half in New England, weather was always a focus and talked about during the week to get prepared for. And if you knew it was going to be a wet game, Bill was going to throw balls into the bucket and make them soaking wet and have to deal with it. But yeah, they did not prepare properly for the elements. There's no other way to say it. And then to Dak Prescott to play the first quarter and a half and losing control of the football. It's halfway through the second quarter and we're going to put a glove on? Come on. What are we doing? It's like, and you just can't go into those type of games where you just go, oh, it's 30-mile-per-hour winds and a monsoon. We're just going to do what we do. No, you shouldn't. If Dallas played the game of hey, we're just going to slug this out and make it ugly and run it a whole bunch of times and rely on our defense, they could have won that game yesterday 9-6 or 12-9 or something like that. They really could have. But they had to beat Dallas, and we're going to throw the ball. I mean, how many times did we see Ezekiel Elliott on first down run for 8 yards, and then the next 4 plays were passes? And it's a punt. It was a very frustrating game to me in general from that way. And yes, it's just one more piece of evidence that New England is all over every facet of every game and every matchup, and they do what they need to do just to win the game. They don't care if everybody thinks it's sexy. Oh, this is what we have to do to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's going to be boring, but we're going to win a Super Bowl, and it's going to be 13-3, and, suck it, everybody. And that's what they do. And too many other teams are like, oh, but this is the way we play, and we're going to do this. And no, just win the game.
I just thought of something.
Yeah.
If, and we know this is a big if, but the Lions.
Yeah.
If they move on from Matt Patricia.
Right.
Which I don't think they should.
Yeah.
Would that be intriguing to Jerry Jones?
Ooh.
Because here's a guy that knows the Patriot way, and we see how the Patriot way works.
He respects it.
And we want the Patriot way.
Yeah.
And this guy's got a PhD in the Patriot way.
Well, and it's
not like there's somebody with the Patriots now, other than Josh McDaniels.
That's what that's where I was just about to go to. That's again, I have a great respect for Matt Patricia as well, and again. I think, if you want the Patriot way, you got to give the Patriot way some time to develop. I think that's where you and I agree with that in Detroit. But to me, the other guy I would be thinking of is, Josh McDaniels. I think the world of Josh McDaniels. Yeah, I know him and I worked for him and I played under him. I don't really give a damn. There's other guys I've talked about who I know and I played for and everything else. I don't always talk that good about him. I just know what I've seen from Josh McDaniels, that he's a head coach, and I think he's got a lot of special attributes. That one would make sense to me. But, I'm just disappointing with the Cowboys. It's too many, just can't deliver in the big moment of the big game. Kind of what the Coach Dungy spoke about on the show last night. Whether it's the Minnesota game or the Jets game, not showing up to play that one. Just too many, the Cowboys game. I mean, the Packers game. I mean, they were down 34-3 to the Packers. What? Are you kidding me? That's not acceptable for the amount of talent they have on that team.
I think the big takeaway from Jerry Jones' comments last night is that he's made the decision to move on.
It's going to have to be like an NFC championship appearance, I think, at this point.
And he's going to start now. Now's the time. With 6 weeks left in the regular season, you start having those conversations with Steven on the bus or on the plane back home.
Right.
What do we do about McDaniels? What do we do about Patricia? Who would we be interested in? Let's start looking at candidates discreetly. Let's get our ducks in a row so when it's time to start our search, we'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
And now's the time where teams always do that. Teams that think they may be looking for a coach begin the process now of lining up candidates, at least not reaching out to anybody, although some of that happens, but just the idea of here internally are the guys that we're going to look at. Here's the universe of candidates, and we'll narrow it down once we implement this process.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would think that is going on, that conversation, yes, with the Jones family. And it's very understandable at this point. Also, I want to say this. Tom Brady, I'm going to give him credit, too, again. And this is, again, part of the New England way. They draft, just like Bill Parcells with the Giants, they draft quarterbacks that they go, when we got to play in November and December and the elements are hard, they're not going to be affected. And Brady's stats aren't going to look good. Like, okay, 17 for 37. Hey, listen, we know their offense isn't that good this year. But he made some big third down throws when they were backed up. He had no problem throwing through the elements at times. That's where Brady's great. That's where Brady's greatness will, you can't quantify it. All the years, we're sitting here comparing stats to him and Drew Brees, touchdown leader. Yeah, but Tom's got to play in New England the last 2 months of the year, and Drew's gets to play in a Superdome, and he's still putting up those stats. And that's how special Tom Brady is. He's got a great arm still. He's got huge hands, and he can just throw the ball through the elements or when the ball's wet, and it doesn't matter. And I do think there's something great to be recognized there.
And this is why the updated Super Bowl odds from Westgate last week still have the Patriots as the favorites out of the AFC, even though the Ravens have looked great. Because, look, when the season is riding on it, when the game is hinging on it, Tom Brady doesn't freak out.
No.
Tom Brady doesn't. He thrives in that moment. Whereas the normal human being would go, oh, crap.
Right.
Oh, no. He's like, here we are again.
Here we go.
These moments are too few and far
Your
between.
ass
Let's
is
go
mine.
do it.
Here we go.
Just like the AFC Championship game last year.
Or the Super Bowl, right? I mean, the same thing. It's a defensive struggle. It doesn't look that good by Brady. Oh, it's the end of the game. Bam. Pass to Gronkowski. Pass to this guy. Another pass to Gronkowski. Game over. See you later. 6 Super Bowls.
All right. A quarterback who has a long way to go to be in the conversation with Tom Brady is Dwayne Haskins. He got a victory yesterday with Washington in a stadium where there weren't many people. There were shots of the parking lot before the game. Nobody's there. In the stadium at kickoff, nobody's there. But there were some fans there late. And Haskins actually missed the last snap in victory formation because he was taking a selfie with fans in the end zone. Now, good marketing move, not a good football move. Bill Callahan, the interim head coach, wasn't happy about that. I mean, this is just one of those dumb things that dysfunctional teams do.
Yeah.
That you don't have the basic system in place to ensure your quarterback remains in the vicinity of the sideline so he can go onto the field to take that snap. It's just weird. And look, I like Dwayne Haskins, and I hope that he is able to flourish in Washington or elsewhere.
Yep.
It's just one of those weird things that, and I told someone this not that long ago, that if you're a bad team, the best thing you can do is be bad quietly.
Right.
Stay off the radar screen. Because the only time we talk about bad teams is when they do something stupid. We're talking about Washington not because they won the game, but because it's something stupid.
Yeah, right.
And it's stupid, and it's an unforced error, and it's typical of a dysfunctional team.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And again, Dwayne Haskins he's still very young and raw. And we've talked about that, throughout the draft process. He sees them get an interception. There's 8 seconds left on the clock, and he's thinking, oh, gosh, we got an interception. The game's over. And, he loses sight that, that play only took 6 seconds. There's 2 more seconds on the clock. Again, not the worst thing in the world, but it's just a guy that's, again, he's still new to college football, let alone being new to the NFL. That's how raw he is. And, again, I don't think anybody expected him to be the starter going into the year at Ohio State. I think everybody thought it was going to be Joe Burrow. And then, Joe Burrow had some injuries. Dwayne Haskins, kind of takes over in the spring leading up to the year, has the great year, all that. But Dwayne Haskins did do some good things, but you're right. It's just, the Redskins are all over the place, but good for them getting a win yesterday and good for Dwayne Haskins.
All right, next subject. Once I find my notes again. Here we go.
Oh, there you are.
Philadelphia Eagles lost yesterday. And we talked about this during the show, all the injuries and how much of it do you blame on Carson Wentz. But, we've said maybe the Rams should regret paying Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Is it fair to ask the question of whether or not the Eagles should regret paying Carson Wentz? And I remember last year we had the conversation, Carson Wentz versus Nick Foles. Wentz is a better quarterback. The Eagles are a better team when Foles plays.
Right.
They've struggled this year. I thought the biggest issue with Wentz would be staying healthy.
Yeah.
He stayed healthy.
Right.
He's just not effective all of a sudden.
No. And really, it's been tough sledding ever since Deshaun Jackson's been out of the lineup. It's just not. It's not an offense that scares you in any capacity. The run game is solid, but not great. They have no speed at receiver. Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson are not there. You heard me say during the show today, I do think Doug Peterson needs to reinvent himself a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I'm just, again, how many times can Carson Wentz smash in a 7-yard completion where the guy is totally covered and he's got to throw it perfectly underneath the guy's chin? Has not been perfect. I will say, I think it's fair to ask the question. I do think Carson Wentz still has special attributes. That's where I kind of, put him in front of a Jared Goff. Again, he's playing in Philadelphia. He's been a part of a team that certainly hasn't had Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and who else? And Cooper Kupp to throw to. I mean, he has not. He has had nothing like that at all, nor has he had Todd Gurley at tailback. So I think he is talented. I think they see that. Is he perfect? No. Did he miss some throws? Certainly. Does he stand in the pocket and wait too long at times for people to come open and then it gets sack, fumble, and things like that? Yeah, he does. He needs to get out and get out of harm's way at times. He's a little too stubborn that way. So it hasn't been perfect, but I'm not going to sit here and just go, oh, no, it's Carson Wentz. They believe in him, and I understand what they see when they believe in him because we saw 2 years ago he should have been the NFL MVP.
This is the dynamic that the Steelers are dealing with to a greater extent, right? The Steelers have a second rounder that is on the field, and do we bench him for Devlin Hodges? Do we keep Hodges in the game now that we have benched him? The Eagles gave up so much to get in position to get Wentz. They couldn't have kept Nick Foles.
No.
They had to make the investment in
Right.
Wentz, and they have to hope for the best and hope that they can get the most
Right.
out of him.
Nick Foles ain't
Period.
exactly lighting up the world in Jacksonville right now either, so let's not forget that.
How did they win a Super Bowl? I mean, really,
Right.
the planets that had to line up for that team to win a Super Bowl and to get the absolute most out of Nick Foles in that spot, pressed into service after the torn ACL
Sure.
in December of 2017, to be the 1 seed, to be the underdog in every game, and just everything fell together just perfectly for the. It was
Yeah.
almost like a Slumdog Millionaire type of
Well,
thing,
yeah.
where everything falls together just perfectly, and the next thing you know, they win the Super Bowl.
Well, they were dominant up front in those years too. We can't forget their defensive line can take over a game. Their offensive line was capable of just road grading defenses and winning it that way. Carson Wentz was phenomenal. The offense was still new to the NFL. Again, if you're staying the same, you're getting worse. That's the saying in the NFL. You got to continue to evolve, and I think all that needs to be done in Philadelphia. And that was just a special team that had the mojo going that year.
For the last topic today, I'm going to call an audible because I
Okay.
saw something.
Blue 45.
Yeah.
Blue 45. Easy. Black 58 Lexus. Black 58 Lexus.
Are you done?
Yeah.
You're proud of
That was
yourself
a real
for that?
audible, though.
That was a real audible?
Yeah.
What did
58
it
Lexus.
mean?
And he put this in, the key in the hole, right? Which can also be something else. But
Thank you. I'm not familiar with that
58
gesture.
Lexus is the play. Have you ever seen, Joe Montana on the NFL Films thing where he, Black 58 Razor. Black 58. It's the same play. It was basically like, oh, we're going to get a weak side blitz. Let's block it up. And there was two receivers to the left. One was going to run a post down the middle. We're going to have a curl route, and the back was going to flare out. So it was kind of like a 3-man route to a side with max protection.
Does Lexus mean left and Razor mean right?
No, Lexus was just a play in Gruden's offense.
Same play.
It was the same play. Yes. It was just the formation and everything was already called. Yeah.
But don't the defenses pick that up by then?
Well, yeah, you got to change it up. But also, the long touchdown pass Brett Favre threw against the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Remember, and he takes his helmet off and runs.
Yeah. Andre
Same
Rison,
play,
right?
It was 58 Lexus, and the story is that Bill Parcells told them they were going to audible that, and the secondary still messed it up, and he threw the touchdown anyways.
Wasn't it Andre Rison?
It was. I think it was. It's Andre Rison.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
All right.
Little history lane there.
That's good. Yeah. Thank you. Tell me more. Actually, it's pretty good. I like that.
All right.
So remember with Deflategate, when it all first started, I had a conversation with my wife about it. Very simple, basic logic. So she's like, what's going on with this whole thing with the Patriots and Tom Brady? It's like, well, they're being investigated for taking air out of the footballs. Well, why would you take the air out of the football? Well, if you take air out of the football, it makes it easier to grip.
Right.
Well, why would you need it to be easier to grip? Well, if it's easier to grip, it's easier to throw. And she looked at me and she said, isn't that what they want? And I raised that because the XFL.
Yeah.
The XFL is debuting in February. They're trying to revolutionize the football.
Oh.
They've redesigned the football.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it easier to throw.
Okay.
They're trying to make it not flutter in the air.
Right.
They want, basically, you never really think about it from this perspective. And I know from talking to people with the AAF, now defunct AAF, that was something they were thinking about moving toward.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have great talent, if you can make a piece of equipment that is easier to use, right? I mean, you can try to screw something into a hard piece of wood or you can just take a drill and straight in. So if you can come up with a piece of equipment that is better, that makes your guys who may not be the best craftsmen throw it better, all of a sudden, things are looking pretty good.
Yeah,
but there's an article at The Athletic.
Interesting.
They've worked on the grain, and this was kind of accidental. They came up with a grain. Instead of pebbles, it's interconnected X's for XFL.
Yeah.
And they realized, hey, this is easier to grip.
Right.
So then they've worked on the interior of it, so it does, so you get some more natural balance.
Yeah.
So the ball doesn't flop around and do the wounded duck thing. It's not as hard to throw a spiral. So I'm just fascinated by.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
By number one,
Yeah.
because we think about the innovations on the field that could be brought over to the NFL, and they did some stuff with the original XFL that they like the sky cam and just the more creative camera angles.
Yeah.
Man, if they're onto something with this design of the football, the people at Wilson may have to worry because, I mean, it's just 4 slabs of leather around an inner tube, and that's just the way it's always been.
Sure.
They've done nothing to innovate a football.
Well,
They've done nothing to make think about it. The football is the same. It's like toilet paper.
Right.
It's never changed.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the way the sport is. Neither has the basketball, or neither has a baseball bat, and neither has a baseball. I mean, some people have tweaked it in their time, but, Brady and Manning, first off, they changed the game in football because they stopped the NFL from making quarterbacks use 30 new footballs every week, which was a pain in the butt. That was a stress for me as a starting quarterback because I was like, damn, oh gosh, it's a new week. We got 30 new balls, and they're slick as hell. And hey, punters, punt them, and hey, running backs, take these to your running back drills because they have a film on them and all those things. But, the XFL, that's a great idea for what they got because they have to hide lack of talent throwers. That's really all there is to it. So, I mean, again, the NFL, they're fine with the way they got. It's still, you're supposed to be talented to play the sport and play the position. That's why we watch it. We want to see Tom Brady throw lasers with something that most of us can't throw lasers with. Or Aaron Rodgers or whatever it is. That's what makes it special to watch those guys, and that's why they get paid $30 million a year. But for the XFL, I get that. That makes sense. And that's probably a good play because there's going to be some quarterbacks that are going to be quarterbacking some of those teams that they're not in the NFL. Wait for it, because they can't throw the football.
Landry Jones, who was in the NFL with the Steelers for a while, he said the X's feel bigger than a pebble. The more I throw it, the more I like it. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
You have got to make it easier for your talent to show themselves better than they otherwise would be.
Is the ball going to be the same size too?
It's the same. The dimensions are the same.
Okay.
But they've come up with this idea of making it easier to use. And you can buy the XFL ball for $125.
Well, I won't be buying it, but I am interested to see it.
They should send us a free one. We just promoted
We'll
the
talk
thing.
about it.
I'd like to test it out.
I would like to,
They're
too.
just down the road.
I know.
Hey, XFL.
Hey, WW.
We're just a couple blocks away.
Right.
Send us an XFL ball
Seriously.
and we can pitch it around.
We'll talk about it in PFT OT, and we'll check it out.
And you can tell me whether or not you like it.
Yeah, sure. I definitely will.
Maybe there's hope for you in the XFL.
No, there's not. My back is sitting here today. I'm like, like, oh, my back hurts. But it is a wise move by them. I got no issue with that at all.
All right, that's it for today's PFT. We'll be back tomorrow with another PFT Live. Thursday, it's radio only. Friday, Big Cat's doing the show. You only have to work 3 days
Woo,
this week.
baby. You know what that means
there.
for me? I got a lot of fun nights coming along.
All right, well, we got some fun days, too. But not that kind of fun. See you tomorrow.
See ya.